Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतौर्पङ्गो मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्भोजौ राधा मदनमोहनौ दिव्याद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादौ श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधाशीलगोविन्ददेवौ प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमन् रासरसारम्भि वंशीपटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्मनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथस्तेस्तु तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनि इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for very kindly joining on a Saturday morning, Saturday evening. We hear and chant about Sri Sachidanand Gauranga Mahaprabhu. In our previous discussions and last so many discussions, this is the 26th class, the 26th session of our series that we have been doing on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And up until this time, we have seen so many things of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the end of Adi Leela and how in the Madhya Leela he takes up sannyas and why he takes from Keshav Bharati Maharaj and why from a Mayavadi and not from a Gaudiya Vaishnava sannyasi. How he goes to Katwa for sannyas and how he ends up traveling to different places. How he meets different personalities in Jagannath Puri based on the recommendation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Then he goes to South India to meet Rai Ramananda. After meeting Ramananda and having a discussion with him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then goes to some other places in South India, meets different sadhus, and through their life, Kaviraj Goswami gives life lessons for all of us. Chaitanya Charite Amritera Sindhu Karana Mana Tripta Kare Jara Ek Bindu. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Amritera Sindhu. They are an ocean, but not a salty ocean, they are a sweet reservoir. Karana Mana Tripta Kare Jara Ek Bindu. Kaviraj Goswami says just one drop of this ocean of Gaura Leela has this ability to satisfy the ears and satisfy the heart and satisfy the mind and satisfy all the senses. This one drop of pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the only reason why we are all here is we all seek happiness. We all desire happiness. There's practically no one who's in this world who prays for sorrow, except for Kunti Maharani. Realistically, no one prays for that. And because we yearn and pray for happiness, Kaviraj Goswami says, well, the only means of happiness to satisfy the senses is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's uh, characteristics, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's qualities, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dham, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's nam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's form, in and out, everything about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has the ability to drown the living entity. Gaur Naam, Gaur Dham, Gaur Rupa Gun, Aparada Nahi Mani Tarite Nipun. The names, form, customs, and qualities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they don't consider offenses. And anyone who takes shelter of the name, form, pastime, qualities, and the dham of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tarite Nipun, for sure will get liberated. Gaurar Ami Mukhena Bole, Gaurara Achara, Gaurara Bichara Laila Phale Phale. Jagadananda Pandit, he says, and in fact, Prabhupada quotes this in Nectar of Instruction in the initial purport. Prabhupada says, Gaurar Ami Mukhem Bolela Na Chale. He says, if someone is saying, "Oh, I belong to Gaura, I belong to Gaura, Gaura Rami, I belong to Gaura," Jagadanda Pandit says, "Well, that's okay, but it doesn't end there. If someone is just saying, I belong to Gaura, well, that's okay, but Gaurara Achara, Gaurara Vichara, the heart has to resonate with the Achar and the Vichar, the lifestyle and the thought process of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If that person is able to resonate with the thought process and the lifestyle of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which basically means if he is able to follow the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh, then that person has the adhikar to say he belongs to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if someone is just wearing tilak and dhoti and kanchimal and saying, well, I belong to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but not following any instructions of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, well, then that's cheating. So Jagdana Pandit says this very strongly. Gaurara Ami, Mukhe Bolela Na Chale, Gaurara Achara, Gaurara Bichara, Loyala Phale Phale. Says following the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most important. And that person who does it, well, he is the right personality who can address himself as Gaura Parashad, the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving different teachings and instructions to different associates. And through their life, we understand the principles that we need to adopt in our life to become Gauras, to become Chaitanya Mahaprabhus. So let us continue, dear devotees. When Lord Chaitanya departed for South India, Maharaj Prataparudra, the king of Orissa, spoke to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. I heard that a great saint has come from Bengal and is staying at your home. Can you please arrange an interview for me with him? Which basically means, can you make sure that I can meet him? Sarvabhauma replied, all you have heard is true, but arranging an interview with him is very difficult. Lord Chaitanya is a sannyasi, detached from worldly affairs. If it's the present day, and if a king is asking this, and if it's the present day, well, uh, the king would bribe another sadhu or whatever, and then he would say, well, you arrange a meeting for me with him. पैसे खिलाकर सब कुछ आजकल हो जाता है. But 500 years back, Maharaj Prataparudra is not bribing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He is genuinely asking if I can meet. And when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, no, no, Mahaprabhu will not meet because you are Vishayi. You are a worldly person. You have a government job and you are the king and he is renounced from all these things. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya doesn't start arguing. He doesn't say, well, I am the king. These rules don't apply to the king. He doesn't say all these things. He just accepts it. He just accepts it. In fact, in the further text, we see when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not ready to give mercy. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving mercy to everyone but not giving to Maharaj Prataparudra. That time, Maharaj Prataparudra, he says, Kibar Rajya, Kibar Deha, Saba Akaran. Yadi se Mahaprabhu na paye kripa dhan, Kibar Rajya, Kibar Deha, Saba Akaran. He says, Jadi se Mahaprabhu na paye kripa dhan. If I don't get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if I don't become the recipient of the wealth of Gaura's affection and loving glance, Kiba Rajya, what's the use of this kingdom? Kiba Deha, what's the use of this body? Saba Akaran, everything is useless. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't shower us mercy, Yadi say Mahaprabhu na paye kripadhan, Kiba Rajya, Kiba Deha, Saba Akaran. So this is another verse that we can memorize and we can offer it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, my dear Lord, what is the use of, well, for us, Rajya means our maybe our material job, the the place from where we get our financial support. And Deha, body, my dear Lord, what is the use of job? What is the use of all these material luxuries that I have? What's the use of even this body These are all useless, my dear Lord. If Yadi say Mahaprabhu na paye kripadhan, if you are not going to shower your mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then what should I do with this body? What should I do with all the material luxuries? It is better, my dear Lord. At one point, if you want, you take them away, but you make sure you shower your mercy. So this is a nice verse that we can chant for our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if we have deities at our home or when we go to the temple. Yadi say Mahaprabhu na paye kripadhan, kiba rajya, kiba deha, sab akaran. This was chanted by Maharaj Prataparudra for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying, he stays in a solitary place and would not even dream of meeting a king. I could try, but he has recently left to tour South India. The king asked, why has he left Jagannath Puri? And Sarvabhauma replied, Lord Chaitanya will visit many holy places and deliver conditioned souls. He is not a jiva. He is the fully independent Supreme Lord Krishna himself. I endeavored hard to keep him here, but I was not successful. Maharaj Prataparudra said, Bhattacharya, you are most learned. Therefore, when you address Lord Chaitanya as Lord Krishna, I will accept it as truth. When he returns, I wish to see him once to make my eyes perfect. Two principles we learn here that whatever the sadhu says, one should ideally accept without questioning. Whatever the acharya says, Prabhupada writes that whatever the acharya says, one should ideally accept. Just like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, well, Lord Chaitanya is not different from Lord Krishna. And Maharaj Prataparudra didn't say, Kidhar likha hai? What's the reference? Give me praman. He didn't start arguing with the sadhu. He just accepted it. And second, we see Maharaj Prataparudra is saying that if you can arrange a meeting for me with him, then my eyes will become perfect. Which means the perfection of the eyes is to see Krishna. Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam hastau cha karma sumanastava padayorna smritya shirastava nivasa jagat praname rishti satam darshanestu bhavat tanunam. Canto 10, chapter 10, text 38, Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukadev Goswami says, Vani gunanu kathane. What is the purpose of the tongue? The purpose of the tongue is to speak about Krishna. That is the only purpose of the tongue. The purpose of the tongue is not for speaking things of this world, because topics of this world are the pilgrimage place for crows. The third canto Bhagavatam says it's the pilgrimage place for crows. And where do the crows stay? Where do we find the crows? In trash cans, right? Especially in India, maybe not much here in the North America, but in India we find lot of crows. का बहुत बहुत सुनाई देता है. Where do we find the crows? Predominantly near the trash cans, which means topics of this world are pilgrimage place for the crows. But where are the crows found? In trash can, which means topics of this world are pretty much like trash, pretty much like garbage. They don't help the living entity in any way. It's a simple waste of time, takes the energy away, drives the mind away from the Supreme Lord, and is not even purifying the tongue. And is not even serving the purpose for which the tongue is given. The tongue is given for Vani Gunanu Kathane. It is to speak about the Guna, Namru Guna Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namru Guna Leela of Krishna, about the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about the associates of Krishna, about Prabhu Sri Ram. This is why the tongue is given. And as much as possible, the endeavor should be. Yes, there may be slip of tongue. Yes, there may be events where we end up speaking things not connected to Krishna. But as much as possible, the living entity should make endeavor to speak about Krishna. Vani Gunanu Kathane Shravanau Kathayam. And naturally, if the tongue is used to speak about Krishna, the ear is meant to hear about Krishna. The ear is not meant to hear Hollywood songs and Bollywood songs and all this pilgrimage. These are also pilgrimage place for the crows. This is also trash. Vani Gunanu Kathane Shravanau Katayam Hastau Cha Karma Sumanastava Padayorna. The hands, the feet, the mind are all meant to serve Krishna. The hand is meant to decorate the form of the Lord. The mind is meant to remember the Lord. The feet is meant to do parikrama for the Lord. Because what is that thing that we can do through our feet? Nothing except parikrama. With our leg, we cannot chant. With our leg, we cannot do shringar of the deity. With our leg, we cannot honor prasadam. With our leg, we cannot do anything. But with the leg, there is only one thing we can do: doing parikrama for the Lord. Vrindavan parikrama, Govardhan parikrama, Navdvip Mandal parikrama, etc. हस्तौ च कर्म सुमनस्तव पादयोर्न smritya shirastava navas jagat praname. The head is meant to offer it to the Lord, which means obeisances. The head is meant to bow down to the Lord by offering obeisances. And drishti satam darshanestu bhavattanunam. The eyes are meant to see the Lord. Just like Maharaja Prataparudra here is saying, my dear Lord, my dear Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, if you help in meeting me with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then that is Drishti Satam Darshanestu Bhavattanam. That is perfection of the eyes for me. So the same point Shukadev Goswami is making in the 10th canto, quoting different limbs, that this is the perfection. In fact, yesterday night I was hearing Srila Guru Maharaj, and in he was speaking of the section of Ajamil. And in the start of the class, the first class of many classes of Ajamil that he has given. So in the first class, he was saying how in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Madhye Tishtati Rajasa. In that verse where he says that if someone is in Sattva, one goes to the higher planets. If someone is Rajasic, one is here. And if someone is Tamasic, one goes down the lower planets. So there Srila Guru Maharaj was saying that इस जगत में जो भी पिक्चर इत्यादि देखते हैं, अपना समय व्यर्थ गवाते हैं यहाँ वहाँ पिक्चर विक्चर देखने में, तो उनका गति यही होता है कि वो नीचे चले जाते हैं, बिकॉज दैट इज तामसिक. The things that are shown have nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Absolutely nothing. They have no connection with bhakti at all. And they just degrade the consciousness more. So Srila Guru Maharaj was saying eventually those personalities go down. Going down means going to the plant species or animal species or any of those species where the person is bereft of a human birth. Because the eyes, the ears, none of these senses were actually put into perspective. None of these senses were actually used for Krishna. So, as much as possible, one should be around or surround himself with devotees. We see in the life of Srila Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was leaving this world, at that time, different devotees were around Prabhupada, like Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Jayadvait Maharaj, etc. And there is that famous video where Prabhupada is speaking. He's on the bed in Vrindavan Dham, and they have kept a dictaphone next to him. And Prabhupada is speaking, and they are reading, and Prabhupada is giving commentary to that. Very famous video. And there in the video, we see Prabhupada says, so by associating with good people, our destination will also be good. And by associating with those who are not devotees, our association will be bad. We can hear this, Prabhupada says. When we associate with devotees, our destination is very good. And when we constantly associate with those who are not devotees, it's only a matter of time that we also start behaving and thinking and doing like them. So it's of paramount importance that we take it seriously to surround ourselves as much as possible with devotees of the Lord. In our youth, it's very easy to get swayed away with different kinds of company. Because when we are in school, when we are in college, we think, well, I am the only person who's practicing Krishna consciousness. And because I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, I'm not having friends. So let me do one thing. Let me be like them. Let me try to lead a lifestyle like them so that I will have friends in my life. Because of social peer pressure and fear of missing out, FOMO, as they say, fear of missing out. So you start downgrading yourself and try to be like them so that you don't lose out on friend circle. And this happens pretty often in schools and colleges, especially the youth. And because the mind is not completely matured, the person gets swayed away pretty fast. And this path is so slippery that once the person leaves Krishna consciousness, it is very difficult because now the heart will get conditioned more and more after he is swayed away. Now it becomes very, very difficult for him to come back to the path of Krishna consciousness. So it's of utmost important that we keep a constant check on whom we associate with. Just like we say, Jaisa an, Vaisa man. What we eat is what our mind is. Likewise, whom we associate with is also very important. क्योंकि उनका रंग चढ़ जाता है. यदि साधु संत के साथ संग करे तो उनका रंग चढ़ेगा, और यदि नास्तिक इत्यादि लोग से संग करे तो उनका रंग भी चढ़ जाएगा. सो वी हैव टू सी किनका रंग हम चाहते हैं कि हम पर चढ़े. यदि भक्ति का रंग हम चाहते हैं कि हम पर चढ़े, और यदि हम ये चाहते हैं कि इसी धाम में भागवत प्राप्ति हो, और इसी धाम में हम फिर से राधा और कृष्ण की आराधना करते करते भागवत धाम चले जाएं, तो अधिक से अधिक हमें भक्तों के साथ संग करना है. और यदि हम इस जगत में संतुष्ट है, अ, इस जगत के कार्य करते हुए, तो फिर हम इसी जगत में रह सकते हैं. लेकिन इसका प्रॉब्लम यही है that पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम, we will again keep taking birth, again keep dying, again keep taking birth, again keep dying, and it's a never ending cycle. So at some point an intelligent person is someone who will understand some point I have to break this. No student likes to fail in the same grade. फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड में ऐसा कोई बच्चा है कि जो फिफ्थ स्टैंडर्ड में फेल होता ही होता है, like he keeps failing constantly and he doesn't want to progress? Doesn't happen. Anyone who fails understands that, oh, next time I have to put more effort so that I go to the sixth grade, to go to the seventh grade, to go to the eighth grade, and eventually I have to graduate this school. Not that once I've taken admission to the school, अब चलो जिंदगी मौज ही मौज, अब हम स्कूल में ही रहेंगे, हम पास ही नहीं होंगे. That's not how it works, right? All of us went to a school, we studied, and we graduated, and now the life goes on. Likewise, human life is like that school. We have entered the school now. Now, an intelligent person is someone who will make sure we graduate out of the school. What is happening is we have entered the school of human birth, and now we have been failing, which means we have not got Krishna, which means we have been failing in the fifth grade again and again. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. And the sad part is, we are not even realizing that we have to come out of this. We are not even realizing that now I have to go to the sixth grade, I have to go to the seventh grade, I have to progress from here. We are happy in failing again and again. If the whole report card is shown as to how many times we have failed in human birth, it would probably be very embarrassing. It would be very, very embarrassing for all of us. It would be very, we would be very ashamed. इतने बार मनुष्य जीवन भगवान दिए हैं, और बारंबार 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 हम भगवान को ये वादा दिए थे कि प्रभु, हम जब बाहर आएंगे आपकी आराधना करेंगे और फिर से आपके पास आ जाएंगे. लेकिन क्या हुआ? हर बार हम जब बाहर आते हैं भूल जाते हैं भगवान भक्तों का संग भी लेते हैं, फिर भी हम उस संग का लाभ नहीं उठाते और फिर से इस जगत में जन्म लेते हैं, मरते हैं इत्यादि. So by associating with devotees, by using our senses to use, is when we can come out of this cycle of repeated birth and death. And this is what Maharaj Prataparudra is practically teaching through his life, that he is a king. He has money, he has luxury, he has riches, he has a big palace. He has more, much more than what we can even think of. What is our financial strength? Not much. But Maharaj Prataparudra had a lot of he had a lot of gold coins. He had people working under him. He had palace. He was the king. We can imagine how much he would be making. And 500 years back, there was not much corruption. There was no corruption at all. There, that is where Maharaj Prataparudra comes from, and he is begging and trying to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? It's the logical conclusion is very simple. But even he understands that this money, this luxury, these riches mean nothing if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not going to travel his mercy. यदि से महाप्रभु न पाए कृपा धन, Kiba Rajya, Kiba Deha, Sab Akaran. Everything is useless if Gauranga Mahaprabhu is not going to shower mercy. So this ideally should be our state. When will that day come when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will shower mercy? When will that day come when Krishna will shower mercy? And ideally, the best time is when we can start this process from a young age. In the life of Prabhupada, we see Srila Prabhupada from the time he was small, he would do the Jagannath Rath Yatra as his father Gaur Mohan De instructed him. Near his temple, Prabhupada lived in 151 Harrison Road in Calcutta. And during those days, there was the north part of Calcutta and the south part of Calcutta. And Satsvarup Maharaj explains one side of Calcutta was pretty much the Britishers, while another side of Calcutta was the Indians who were living. One side of Calcutta was the Britishers who were wearing all Western clothes, while another side of Calcutta was those who were wearing dhoti and kurta. Simple, because 100, 200 years back, the Indian clothing was pretty much dhoti and kurta. Now, the same dhoti and kurta, if you have to put on an Indian street, people are ashamed. But that was the clothing that people would wear. It's only after the British influence that the jeans and t-shirts and this and that, so on and so forth, has taken a lot of importance. So near Prabhupada's house, he would not just do Jagannath Rath Yatra, but near Prabhupada's house, there was a small temple of Radha Govinda. And Srila Prabhupada would go there to the temple and spend hours and hours and hours looking at the form of Radha Govinda. Satsvarup Maharaj writes this. He would spend hours just looking at the form of Radha Govinda. He was so enamored by that form. And how surrendered was Srila Prabhupada to the principles? How much surrendered was Gaur Mohan to the principles of uh, dharma? The famous story we know, when Prabhupada was 1.5, he had typhoid. And they went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you have to give chicken broth. And Gaur Mohan said, what? Well, we are vegetarians. We are worshippers of Radha and Krishna. What do you mean chicken broth? We don't even eat eggs. We don't. Satsvarup Maharaj writes, Gaur Mohan De was so strict. He in his entire life had not eaten onion garlic, had not eaten eggs, had not eaten uh, meat, had not drunk tea coffee. At that time, there was no ISKCON, but still he was leading that lifestyle. And now imagine telling that person that you have to give your son chicken broth. He said, "What? It's not possible. This is not possible." The doctor said, well, this is the only medicine. For your son to live, this is the only medicine. And then Gaurav, they say, well, we don't prepare all these things in our home. The doctor said, oh, don't worry, I will prepare from my home and I will get it. Is that okay for you? You don't prepare, I will get prepare from my home. My wife will prepare, and then I will get it. And Gaurav, they said, well, it's not just about preparing. How can I give chicken broth to my son? And finally, Gaur Mohan, they said, well, if this is the only way of surviving for my child, so be it. So then they brought chicken broth for Srila Prabhupada. And Satsvarup Maharaj writes, when the chicken broth was just brought near Prabhupada, 1 year old or 1.5 year old Abhay. Prabhupada had different names when he was small. Abhay Charan was the legal name. Apart from that, because he was born on Nandotsav, he was also called as Nandulal. Nandulal was also called as Nandu. And because he liked Kachori, he was also called as Kachori Nandu. The neighbors would call him Moti. Moti means pearls. So Prabhupada had different names. Nandu, Nandulal, Kachori Nandu, Moti, Abhay. So Satsvarup Maharaj writes, when the chicken broth was got near Prabhupada, Abhay or Kachori Nandu, who was only 1.5, vomited completely without even having just the glance of chicken broth. Prabhupada vomited. And the doctor said, it seems like it will not work for him. Even before going inside, if just the glance of chicken broth is vomiting, let's not give him this. And that's how Prabhupada was not fed even a drop of meat, a drop of chicken. And Prabhupada Lilamrit explains that eventually, by the will of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the will of Krishna, young Kachori Nandu became all right by the mercy of the Lord without taking any external forms of medication whatsoever. By the Lord's mercy, he was completely fine. Teaching the world the principle at the age of 1.5, that even if our life is put at stake, one should not reject Vedic principles. यदि मरने के हालत में भी क्यों ना हो और यदि डॉक्टर कहे कि नहीं नहीं, यदि आप जिंदा रहना चाहते हैं तो आपको थोड़ा मांस खाना पड़ेगा, और इस जगत का व्यक्ति अगर यदि हम देखें वो बोले कि अरे प्रभु जी, जिंदा रहने के लिए यदि थोड़ा मांस खाना पड़े, थोड़ा खा लेते प्रभु जी, बाद में नहीं खाएंगे, पूरा जन्म तो कभी खाए ही नहीं, थोड़ा खा लेते हैं या थोड़ा शराब पी लेते हैं यदि डॉक्टर कहे. बट हियर इज 1.5 year old Prabhupada teaching. It's not even 70-year-old Prabhupada. So 1.5 year old Kachori Nandu teaching us it's better to be sick rather to break the principles of Vedic Dharma. Rather than eating meat or drinking liquor, it's better to die, but not consume any of these things. And Prabhupada was convinced, rock solid. And that's the classic trademark of a very fixed up devotee. Their conviction will be like the lines on a rock. They will not deter away. Even if they are in the situation where they have to leave their body, they will not deter away. They will be on the path of Krishna consciousness. When Sripad Aindrabhu was in Vrindavan Dham because of the heat, now it's pretty much June time, so I'm pretty sure India would be very hot unless the monsoon has arrived. I'm not sure, but summers in India we know are extremely hot. पसीने छूट जाते हैं. And you can imagine if there is no fan, no AC, how hot it will be. That was Sripad Indra Prabhu's state in Vrindavan Dham. His back would be completely filled with boils, heat boils. He had piles problem. The doctors would be there in Delhi. So the devotees told Indra Prabhu that, well, good doctors are there in Delhi. So why don't you come to Delhi and we can treat you for your sinus and piles and so many other things. And Indra Prabhu said, well, will you give me the guarantee that while I'm in Delhi, I cannot leave my body? What if something happens? Can you give me the guarantee that while I'm going to Delhi or while I'm in Delhi, that something wrong will not happen to me, that I will not leave my body? Well, the devotees said, well, who can give the guarantee? No one can give. Aindrapu said, exactly. So I don't want to leave Vrindavan. Even if my body gives me pain, it's okay. But धाम छोड़कर हम कहीं नहीं जाएंगे. ब्रज तीज के लिए कहीं नहीं जाऊंगा. Aindrapu said, I will never leave Vrindavan Dham. Throughout his life, he never spent even a night outside the land of Vrindavan Dham. After he moved in 86, from that time till 2010, Aindrabu never slept at night outside Vrindavan Dham. Even when he would go for the recordings to Delhi or any of those things, he would spend the day, but by evening time, he would come back to Vrindavan Dham. He had this vrat that जो हो जाए रात तक वृंदावन आना ही है. How much ever late it is, one should not sleep outside Vrindavan Dham. That was his vrat. So how much the point we're trying to make is how rock solid have these personalities they have been, like Indra Prabhu, like Srila Prabhupada, to not break the principles of dharma whatsoever. Because human life is primarily meant for this. Srila Prabhupada from the childhood demonstrated this. Not just, in fact, Prabhupada's pastime, there was a blend of child-like qualities and at the same time qualities that were of a very advanced sadhu. Qualities of an advanced sadhu in the form of doing Jagannath Rath Yatra, going to Radha Govinda temple, not eating chicken broth, so on and so forth. But at the same time, Prabhupada did childlike things also. Satsvarup Maharaj, right, one time Prabhupada was in the streets of Calcutta with his father, Gaur Mohan De. And Prabhupada was about 2.5. So he was holding the hand of his father and he was walking. And while they were walking, they came to a toy shop. And Prabhupada there saw a toy gun, like Diwali gun, toy gun. So Prabhupada, he told his father, he said, I want a toy gun, I want a toy gun. And he started crying. So Gaur they said, okay. And he got the toy gun for Prabhupada. And Prabhupada again started crying. Now this time he started crying so much that he sat down on the ground and started kicking his feet on the floor. रस्ते के बीचों बीच प्रभुपाद जमीन पर बैठ गए और अपना पैर जमीन पर मारने लगे और रोने लगे, बोले मेरे को एक और चाहिए, आई वॉन्ट वन मोर टॉय गन. गौर मोहन दे सेड व्हाट, आई जस्ट गेव यू वन. So young Abhay, young Kachori Nandu says, I want gun in both hands. You get me two guns in both hands, I want one gun. And Gormon, when he hears, he starts laughing and gives him one more, buys one more gun for him. And young Kachori Nandu, when he was small, both hands he would run around with two guns. So Srila Prabhupada had this childlike pastimes also, but at the same time, predominantly there were a lot of qualities that were demonstrated of the caliber of those who are very, very advanced. Teaching by example that the senses and the human birth is meant to serve and please Krishna. And this is what Maharaj Prataparudra here is saying, that, my dear Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, if you make an appointment of myself with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then these eyes will become perfect. Sarvabhauma said, he will return soon. Can you please arrange a peaceful residence for him near the Jagannath temple? So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is trying to give service to Maharaj Prataparudra only so that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, through the service he can introduce Maharaj Prataparudra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like a good master plan. Because if there is no service, how will Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya introduce Maharaj Prataparudra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? If he just says, well, he's the king, Mahaprabhu will actually not meet. But if he says, my dear Lord, this place that you're going to stay, this place was arranged by Maharaj Prataparudra. Now this is some sort of service. This will bring the attention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu towards Maharaj Prataparudra. So Sarvabhauma says, can you please arrange a place for him when he comes back to Jagannath Puri? And Maharaj Prataparudra suggested the name of Kashi Mishra, who also felt greatly fortunate to have Lord Chaitanya stay at his home. The king became anxious for the Lord's return. Devotees are always eager for opportunities to serve the Lord, either directly or indirectly, with no desire for recognition. When Lord Chaitanya returned from South India, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took him to Kashi Mishra's house, which is nothing but the Gambhira, the Lord's new residence. Kashi Mishra fell at the Lord's lotus feet and surrendered himself and all his possessions. Lord Chaitanya then showed Kashi Mishra his four-armed form, Chaturbhuj Murti. The Lord showed his four-armed form. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has showed the two-armed form, has shown the four-armed form, has shown the six-armed form, Shadbhuj Gauranga. He has also shown the eight-armed form. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, different occasions to different devotees, has given this darshan. And here to Kashi Mishra, he gives the 400 from Chaturbhuj Murti. In fact, when we do Radhakund Parikrama, as we're doing Radhakund Parikrama, we come across a Jagannath temple there. And while we are doing the Parikrama there, just when we walk little ahead, we will find a small hut kind of a place. And inside the house, inside a small hut, small kutir, we will find Shadbhuj Gauranga, six-armed Gauranga Mahaprabhu, two hands of Mahaprabhu, two hands of Krishna, two hands of Prabhu Shri Ram. And that place is so small. This time when I was doing parikrama, I was saying that even for one pujari to stand inside is a challenge. And for so many years and decades, with very little monetary supply, they have been worshipping Shadbhuj Gauranga. And even now, when we do Radhakund Parikrama near the Jagannath temple there, we will find Shadbhuj Gauranga. Even as far as lighting is concerned, you wouldn't find a lot of lightings. There are no lightings on the Lord. But still, out of their devotion, they are worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is pleased. And the reason we can understand he is pleased is these devotees are offering their heart to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. From a financial standpoint, they may not have much. They may have only maybe little wealth or whatever, but they are offering their heart to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Shadbhuj Gauranga. That is why Mahaprabhu is not wanting to go anywhere else, but wanting to live in Radha Kund with these devotees who are very, very simple and not very aristocratic. Mahaprabhu likes devotees who are very simple. Those who are very, very aristocratic, um, who are leading a very luxurious life, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't give much attention. Maharaj Prataparudra is the best example. All of Mahaprabhu's associates were very, very simple. Maharaj Prataparudra was very aristocratic. He was the king, but eventually he had to bend himself completely to get Mahaprabhu's mercy. Mhm. So here the four-armed form is shown to Kashi Mishra. Sarvabhauma introduced the devotees at Nilachal to Lord Chaitanya, including Shiki Mahiti, Pradyumna Mishra, Chandaneshwar, Simheshwar, Murari, Vishnudas, and others. They all offered obeisances to Lord Chaitanya, who then mercifully embraced each of them. In fact, Kaviraj Goswami says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here the name Shiki Mahiti is given. Shiki Mahiti is one of the confidential associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kaviraj Goswami explains Gauranga Mahaprabhu has three and a half confidential associates. Not three, not four, three and a half. How does this math go? Well, the first associate, confidential associate of Gauranga Mahaprabhu is Swarup Damodar Goswami. Why? Because he is Lalita Sakhi. Second is Rai Ramananda, who is Vishaka Sakhi. Third is Shiki Mahiti, who is again very, very dear to the Lord. And three and a half is Shiki Mahiti's sister, Madhvi Devi. Now, why is the sister considered half? Well, she's considered half because she was in a feminine body and Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi. He could not associate physically with Gauranga Mahaprabhu like the way other associates could do. But mentally, she would always be with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mentally, she would always remember Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So Kaviraj Goswami puts her as a half associate, not a complete associate, but a half associate. So Kaviraj Goswami says these three were very, very, very confidential to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and very, very dear in the form of Swarup Damodar, Rai Ramananda, Shiki Mahiti, and Shiki Mahiti's sister, Madhavi Devi. So in this way, different associates are introduced to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Bhavananda Rai came with his four sons. Hmm. Now naturally the name is Bhavananda Rai, which means one of his sons will be Ramananda Rai. Hmm. So Ramananda Rai is the son of Bhavananda Rai. So Bhavananda Rai is the father. He has four sons. Hmm. Ramananda Rai is one. Vaninath Rai is another. Gopinath Patnaik is the third. Hmm. And then you have Sudha Nidhi. Hmm. So Bhavananda Rai came with his four sons and they fell at the Lord's feet. Sarvabhauma introduced Bhavananda Rai, the father of Ramananda Rai, who was his first son. Lord Chaitanya embraced Bhavananda Rai and spoke, the glories of a person who has a jewel of a son like Ramananda Rai cannot be described. You are Maharaj Pandu himself, and your wife is Kunti Devi. Your sons are like the five Pandavas. So actually, Pandu, Kunti Devi, and the Pandavas come in Gaur Lila as Bhavananda Rai, Bhavananda Rai's wife, and the children. They are direct, not different from the Mahabharat personalities. The same Mahabharat personalities are coming in Mahaprabhu's pastimes as the sons of Rai Ramanand, the sons of Bhavananda Rai. Bhavananda Rai said, although I am a fallen Shudra, engaged in mundane affairs, still you have touched me. This is a proof that you are the Supreme Lord. I surrender at your lotus feet, along with my home, riches, servants, and sons. This Vaninath Patnaik will always attend to your orders and personally serve you. A spiritually advanced person doesn't look down upon others, seeing their material situations, but sees their spiritual identity and encourages them in their spiritual life. Lord Chaitanya replied, birth after birth, you have been my servant along with your family. Ramananda Rai is coming in a few days, and I take great pleasure in his company. The Lord embraced Bhavananda Rai and then touched the heads of his sons with his lotus feet. So Mahaprabhu placed his lotus feet on the heads of the sons of Bhavanandara. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is back to Jagannath Puri after a South India Yatra. Kashi Mishra has given him a place, that is the Gambhira. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya has introduced different personalities to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that point, Bhavananda comes with his sons, and they also get introduced to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu makes a strong point that you are not different from Maharaj Pandu. Your wife is Kunti Devi, and your sons are the Pandavas. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now in Jagannath Puri and is surrounded by jewel-like personalities and jewel-like associates who are there to enrich his mood, to augment his mood, to help him remember Radharani, who is in separation from Sri Vrindavan Dham and is in separation from Sri Krishna. In this way, we stop here, dear devotees. Thank you all for joining. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Nityananda Ram की जय. महाप्रभु साउथ इंडिया यात्रा की जय. Mahaprabhu back to Jagannath Puri ki jai. Bhavananda Rai and his four sons ki jai. Maharaj Prataparudra ki jai. All the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sarva Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari.